They couldn't have written a better story. It all began with one of the greatest rounds in boxing history.
Bowe stuns him with an uppercut, and just like that, the champion struggles to stay on his feet. Look at Holyfield, reversing the tide of the battle. The champion now has Bowe wobbling.
By night's end, the foundation had been laid for one of boxing's most scintillating and bizarre rivalries. 1 year later, an intruder would interrupt their anticipated reunion.
Somebody in a parachute has just landed on the edge of the ring.
With wars so intense, they could have fought till dawn.
The crowd rises to its feet. For the second year in a row, they fought the fight of the year.
Like a migration, the month of November would bring them back to their past, to the same city, in the same ring, for the final chapter. After 24 memorable rounds of boxing, what more could follow? Bowe and Holyfield, apart, two truly gifted fighters. Together, the rivalry of the decade. Now that's a story worth telling again.
From Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. Join us now as we take a look back at the most recent episode of one of the most exciting sagas in boxing today. The 3-year rivalry between former heavyweight champions Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield. The outdoor arena at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here 2 years ago, on November 6, 1993, Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe fought for the second time. A bizarre and unusual fight which was talked about for the past 2 years. Now, on November 4, 1995, they meet here once again, and once again produce a bizarre and incomparable battle which will be talked about for years to come. Tale of the tape between Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, and you see all of the physical and statistical advantages that Bowe brings into the ring. 5 years younger, 3 inches taller, 27 pounds heavier, and 3½ inches longer reach. Punch stat numbers, Larry, and we're going to look at totals from their first 2 fights in which Riddick Bowe was exceptionally busy for a big heavyweight.
They throw about 20% more punches, according to our statistical whizzes, than normal heavyweights throw, even on a championship level. Now you can see the average punches for a round. Holyfield is more judicious in throwing punches. Bowe, as you can see, is throwing 50% more punches than Holyfield. Holyfield tends to throw his punches in bunches. The jab, which many people think is the key here, you can see that Bowe has an edge. He should have a bigger edge, according to some experts.
And the rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Riddick Bowe Evander Holyfield fight will be 12 rounds. There is no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you can be saved by the bell only in the last round. Jim.
And Harold, we are ready now for Evander Holyfield to make the walk to the ring. In his last fight, he became the first man ever to put Ray Mercer on the canvas. Holyfield's walk-in music is a gospel tune. Not by power, not by might, but only through faith in the Lord.
And one of the things that is inspiring Holyfield, he told us the other day, was his wish that he would be able to carry the Olympic torch at the start of the games in his hometown of Atlanta next year. He thinks that if he can actually be the champion, that would enhance his chances.
Professional record, 31 wins. Losses to Riddick Bowe and Michael Moorer. 22 knockouts, and he has vowed to score a knockout tonight. Riddick Bowe lives up to a promise that he would leave his dressing room and come to the ring as soon as Evander Holyfield had completed his walkout. So late, but as good as his word with regard to procedure. The pictures on the robe he's wearing are of his 5 children. The most recent addition, a little baby named Diamond. She's 3 months old.
Once upon a time, he seemed like an oversized teddy bear to me, Jim. Now he looks like a full-grown grizzly.
By his own admission, he says he's learned a lot, particularly since the loss to Holyfield in the second of their fights. He believes that loss was the beginning of making him a real man in boxing.
I think in a sense he's like another Las Vegas native, Andre Agassi, who finally decided now is his time to show the talent that he has developed, nurtured, and brought to fruition to be the best that he can be.
You saw the hug that precedes the fight between 2 men who not only respect each other, but like each other as friends, who have traveled to each other's birthday parties over the course of the past couple of years, and who vow that their affection for one another will not vanish after they pound away at each other as hard as they can tonight. Riddick Bowe's record, and you'll see that it shows only 1 loss. That was the loss to Holyfield in their second fight. 37 wins, 31 KOs for the bigger, stronger man.
4 guys. Everybody else has to get 1, 2, 3. And head down right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The other guys are going to have to get right behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, Spencer Promotions and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. In association with Main Events Monitor, present Bowe Holyfield III, the final chapter. 12 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division, with the victor to be recognized as the best in the world. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dr. James Nave, Commissioners Nat Carasali, Luther Mack, Dr. Elias Ghanem, and Crispin Rivera, Executive Director Mark Ratner. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Flip Omansky, Dr. Robert Hoy, and Dr. James Wishgame. The timekeepers are Al Bisick and James Cavan. Your 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system will be Chuck Jampa, Bill Graham, and Jerry Roth. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Joe Cortez. And now, for the thousands in attendance here in Las Vegas and the millions watching around the world, let's join together and share with pride this moment in heavyweight history. Ladies and gentlemen, from the site where legends are made, Caesar's Palace, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing gold trimmed with black and weighing 213 pounds. In 1984, he captured an Olympic bronze medal. Then, as a professional, he became the undisputed cruiserweight world champion. He then moved to the heavyweight division, winning that title 2 times. His professional record now stands at 31 victories, 22 by knockout, with only 2 defeats. Tonight, he again displays his courage by facing for the 3rd time the toughest opponent of his career. Ladies and gentlemen, from Atlanta, Georgia, introducing the Warrior, the 3-time world champion and former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trimmed in red and weighing 240 pounds. In 1988, he came home to the streets of Brooklyn with an Olympic silver medal. After turning professional, he fought his way to the World Heavyweight Championship in 1992. And in his 3rd title defense, he suffered the first and only loss of his career. Tonight, he plans on reversing that single blemish on his record, a record which now stands at 37 victories, 31 by knockout, with that 1 defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, from Brooklyn, New York, a 2-time world champion, former undisputed and current WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Big Daddy
Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight, obey my command at all times, give me good sportsmanlike conduct. Understood? All right, shake hands, good luck to both of you.
Where's low end, Joe?
Right here.
Right there.
Right there.
These 2 fighters seem to need each other, just as we in boxing need them. And what I'm looking forward to right now is the 25th round of a long, great fight.
And in the the last few moments before the opening bell, one final entreaty from Holyfield's camp to Joe Cortez, asking him to watch the way Bowe uses his right hand. They're convinced that Bowe gets away with clubbing opponents on the back of the head too often.
Huh? What do you mean it won't go?
52 degrees at audience level, 62 degrees under the lights in the ring. And a final adjustment to the ring ropes as Cortez tries to see to it that the ropes will be tight enough, although neither man here has a habit of leaning against the ropes, and they go ahead and take that restraining rope off. Finally. Men starting out working conventionally behind the jab. One immediate impression, Evander Holyfield saying to us yesterday, I'm bigger and stronger than ever before, and he looks that way in the ring.
Riddick Bowe did not take the initiative with his jab. Holyfield has won the battle of the jabs already. Holyfield is 213. He may be the bigger guy tonight after all.
Oh, at what is for him a very trim 240, lowest weight since the first Holyfield fight in fall of '92.
When you got an advantage of a left jab, you don't wait to use it. You start off whether you land on the chest or not. Bowe is not doing that.
Holyfield tries the first real combination, and Bowe gets Holyfield with the first leg lift of the fight. Evander tripling up with the jab.
Let's go.
He must remember to box and control his passion for warfare. Bowe must remember to put his punches together and make them count inside. Hard right hand by Bowe. Holyfield answers with a counter left.
Oh, get those arms out of there. Get him out of there. Get those arms out of there. Come on, get him out of there.
Both men landing to the body as they clinch and then break.
Hold the head. Go hold the head. Go hold the head.
Bowe missing with a long right hand.
Come on, break out. Come on, let's go.
Holyfield must find a way to get inside Riddick Bowe's jab when the bigger man starts to use it rhythmically. So far, Holyfield has been beating Bowe to the punch with his jab.
Watch the head. Come on, watch the head. Watch the head. Come on.
Hard right hand by Holyfield.
Go hold the head. Go hold the head, man. Go hold the head.
Round one ends. Holyfield seemed to throw more punches as he goes back to his corner. Trainer is Don Turner, a third different trainer in the trilogy with Bowe. First, Benton and Duva in the first fight, then Emmanuel Stewart in the second fight, now Don Turner tonight.
Oh, see how beautiful that double left is working? Keep working, keep working. Breathe deep, breathe deep, breathe deep, breathe deep, breathe deep.
Just get used to that cool in, that's all it is. You're doing great. Great first round.
Don't wait on him. But you can't throw one punch because he's going to counter two.
Right.
Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Okay. All right. A very good first tactical round for Holyfield, beating Bowe with his jab.
All right, let's go. Come on, let's
moving
go.
in and out and around.
In the first fight, Holyfield won the first round on all 3 cards. In the second fight, Bowe won the first round on all 3 cards. Jab by Holyfield, and George, between rounds, you heard Eddie Futch saying to Bowe, don't wait on him.
Yeah, you got that long reach. Why in the world are you standing there waiting to land a shot when you can throw any time you want and you got the range? Bowe needs to step up the jab.
A lot of people love to give Bowe credit for being a good inside fighter, and there's Cortez already putting himself into the action. A lot of people give Bowe credit for being a very good in-fighter, George. You see holes in his game there.
Completely. He's not, he'll sneak a left the uppercut in there. He'll sneak it in. It's not what you call a pure uppercut because he lures you to sleep and he sneaks it under there. He's a good right-hand puncher if he can get it overhand-like. Holyfield needs to be hit with a straight, right down the line right hand.
What about Holyfield having to punch up against the taller man?
Well, the head is there, and he's not protected because you got to aim down. You have your tendency of a big man to drop your hands because you're aiming down. Just throw up there. You can't miss those big, tall guys. I know. I've been up there.
You've been hit.
Yep.
Missed with a slow right hand, and Holyfield stepped in with a counter.
Give me a clean round, guys. Give me a clean round.
Now the right hand sharper by Bowe, and that one lands. And now Bowe gets in an uppercut.
Why is Holyfield staying in there, George? That seems like the last place he should be.
Well, he's in there with a bigger guy, and he shouldn't let this guy wear him down with that extra weight. So this is not good tactics on his behalf, but he said earlier he wanted a knockout.
Two hard left hooks inside by Holyfield, pressing the action, keeping his head against Bowe's chest. Bowe has twice in this round landed the uppercut. If he remembers to throw it, as he did in the first fight, it can be an extremely effective blow. Straight right hand, not a lot of snap behind it for Bowe, but the left hook inside is good. Holyfield with the right.
Get on, let's go. Give me a clean round, guys, come on.
A persistent theme in the trilogy, punching after the bell.
Well, Evander Holyfield was hit below the belt a couple of times. The referee didn't do anything about it. Holyfield got mad.
I know need for this punching after the bell. Ain't no need for all that. You hear that?
He can't bounce and move like he was before. So keep using that jab, and when you get on the inside, both hands.
Both you guys gave a full warning.
When he tries to come to you, step back and throw that little uppercut. Okay?
Any use unsportsmanlike conduct, I'm going to start taking some points, you hear?
Let's see what happened after that. At the end of the round. Unfortunately for Holyfield, that might have been the best part of the round for him, as Bowe asserted himself during that round. You heard Eddie Futch say, George, that he didn't think Holyfield could move and dance the way he did in the first round anymore, and that Bowe should go to work on that premise. Do you think that that's already out of the plan?
Well, yeah, he doesn't have to move this time. Riddick Bowe is not expelling and using that jab to keep a guy moving. Standing there, you don't waste your energy if you don't have to. Why move? This guy's not doing anything to make you move.
Holyfield, so effective moving in and out in the second bout, is now staying inside, giving Bowe a chance to make his power a big factor. They're trading shots at close range, as you can see.
Give me a clean round. Watch him on the other side. Give me a clean round.
Again, the uppercut by Bowe. He threw 81 of them in the first fight. And, of course, it was an uppercut that rocked Holyfield in the 10th round of that fight. But Bowe only threw 26 uppercuts in the second edition of Holyfield, Bowe, and that was one of the tactical differences that night.
Holyfield is not doing anything to protect himself right now, so he must be feeling the effects of that first uppercut.
Another uppercut by Bowe snaps Holyfield's head back. Holyfield with some of the uppercut medicine for Riddick.
I thought a left hook in there by Bowe did some serious damage, but we don't see the results of it as yet.
Punches up, guys. Hey, ho. Man, you keep the punches up. Keep them up. Let's go.
We counted 10 low blows by Bowe unpenalized in the first of their 3 fights. Tonight, Joe Cortez is staying on top of that, at least for now.
Holyfield is walking into this big man and absorbing punishment. That's not the way you reestablish yourself as a good boxer.
It looks like a suicidal strategy, doesn't it, George?
I wouldn't tell a young man with that kind of boxing ability to do that at all.
Hard right hand by Holyfield. He must believe he's going to land enough of those to make this strategy pay off. Two guys who won't take no for an answer inside. Bowe missing with the uppercut. Holyfield missing with the counter left.
Come on. Time.
I'm not sure what Evander Holyfield is trying to prove, but I don't think he proved it with that strategy.
You're wearing him down, Bowe. Keep sliding a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and keep throwing those uppercuts both with the right hand and the left hand. Watch for him, look for that one big shot. When that one big shot comes, get underneath. Bang. He wanted to move, but he can't move anymore.
There you see Holyfield throwing an uppercut. Riddick Bowe normally throws more uppercuts, and there you can see them on the belt. But as I was saying, that Bowe throws more uppercuts in one fight than many fighters throw in their careers. And this kind of tactic by Holyfield seems made for him. Maybe Holyfield knows something we don't.
Punch stat numbers show the pattern of the first 2 fights re-emerging. Bowe throwing more, Holyfield choosing his spots judiciously and landing at a higher rate. Hard right hand by Bowe. Holyfield comes back with a left. And again, they begin round 4, trading shots in the middle of the ring. Crowd rises as Holyfield seems to stun Bowe with a left hook. Bowe's right hand was blocked. Uppercut missed inside.
Boy, that was some furious exchange, guys. I mean, you don't see big men doing that very often. But this is what these guys have done, and this is, we're now in the 28th round of their fight.
Break out clean. Let's go.
For Bowe to establish his jab when Holyfield stays so close inside. Maybe that's part of what Evander is thinking with this strategy, but on the other hand, he's paying a heavy price for it.
Evander Holyfield is no way, in my mind, fighting smart. For the first time in his career, I saw him look toward the ropes to maybe lay on the ropes and wait a little bit. That's not Evander Holyfield. He's never looked for the ropes to hide.
Evander took a lot of punches against Mercer and was cut in that fight. He's been cut in 4 of his last 6 bouts, and that becomes a concern when your head is in there against the other guy's head all night, as has so far been the case for Evander. Uppercut lands.
Come on, get those arms out of there. Come on.
Holyfield is laying on Riddick Bowe, trying to recuperate and get his air back together. Let me tell you, he's not recuperating in the old Evander Holyfield. It's taking too much time to get his breathing rhythm back again.
Bowe has a habit. Bowe has a habit. You saw it there of beginning to slap when he throws punches in numbered combinations. 3-4 punches at a time. Bowe's last couple of punches will be slaps. But the straight right hand is usually pretty heavy.
Get him out of here. Come on. We got it. Come on, your hands are free. Come on, Holyfield. Get knocked out.
The crowd isn't into this fight as it was in the first couple of fights because most of the action is at such close quarters that it's really hard to see back of 10 or 12 rows what's going on.
Bowe landed a straight right. Holyfield came back with a counter left. 4 rounds in the books.
Tommy, chill out, man. It's okay.
Huh? No, man. No, man.
You got a little blood in your mouth, that's all. Drop your hand, Paul. Drop your hands right down the center there. This is a good time for the doctor to get in and ask Evander Holyfield some questions.
How you feeling here?
Here's this furious exchange early in the round with both fighters connecting. Holyfield, a nice left hand there. This is a strategy that could just wear the smaller man down, but it may be the only way that Holyfield can do it, and you saw him land his own low blow.
And frankly, George, Evander Holyfield in the corner between rounds looked more exhausted than I've ever seen him at this stage of a fight.
I was about to say the same thing. He looked almost like he got old between rounds, but we may be misreading him.
To use an old expression, he just looked all stove in between rounds.
Harold Letterman, quickly, can you give us your scorecard?
Larry, 39-37, 3 rounds to 1, Riddick Bowe. I gave the first round to Evander Holyfield on a jab, but Riddick Bowe's dominated ever since. I thought he really hurt Evander with a right hand in the 4th round.
I have the same score, Harold.
More trading shots in the center of the ring.
This is a very dangerous fight as far as I'm concerned for Evander Holyfield. It's not looking good. Talk about the healing he received. This man is not able to catch a second win. He's not able to get recapture his breathing again.
Come on, your hands are free.
Doesn't look good.
So you think there's at least a chance that the stiff heart condition which followed the Moore fight was not in fact misdiagnosed, and that he's being bothered in some way now, just as he was against Michael Moore?
It's terrible. He's even more so now. He can't catch another win.
Break up. Let's go.
Look at there.
We're establishing what George Foreman's opinion is here.
Yeah.
Break up. Come on, break up.
I'm his corner, I throw in the towel. If I'm the Holyfield's corner, I throw in the towel.
Low blow, and Cortez penalizes Bowe a point.
1 point, low blow. 1 point, low blow. Get in that corner over there. Whole time.
Gotta stop it.
You all right? You got some time. Let me know when you're ready. Ain't no need for none of that. There ain't no need for none of that. I told you. Twice already. 1 point already.
Evander Holyfield can have as many as 5 minutes to recover from this. And now he says he's ready to go. Lipomansky, the Nevada State Athletic Commission doctor, is sitting in Holyfield's corner. Holyfield taking a couple of heavy shots.
Holyfield is really hurting. He looks like he's ready to go. He looks like he has nothing to get back. He just became 33 going on 53.
Evander Holyfield has never been knocked out in his professional boxing career.
You got punches up. Keep him up. You got punches up, guys.
An extremely concerned George Foreman is presently on his feet, suggesting to Joe Cortez that he thinks a stoppage wouldn't be inappropriate.
Yeah, but
now Holyfield comes back with a right hand. George, you're sitting back down.
The problem, of course, is that you just can't underestimate Holyfield and what happens if he gets a second win. His
This man is not going to get a
precedes him.
second win. This man is going to end up in a pine box. He's got heart trouble. It's evident he cannot get his breathing together. He can't recuperate. If he had not had this doctors examine him.
Well, I can't refute the doctors who claim it was misdiagnosed.
Hard
But
right
here he
hand
is.
by Holyfield.
Here he is.
And remember, of course, that he got medical clearance from the Mayo Clinic and other established medical authorities before the Nevada State Commission would license him for the bout.
Bowe is not hurting Holyfield. Holyfield is being hurt inside himself.
Pick him up.
Evander, look at me. How you doing out there, son?
Good. Stop in here, baby.
The curly-haired gentleman in the gray tweed sport coat is Dr. Flip Homansky of the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
We're here to make sure nobody takes unnecessary punishment.
Hey, Joe, take control of this thing. This guy's hitting behind
I took a point already off, and be quiet. Take control of yourself, all right?
I got control of myself. You take control of the fight.
All right, let the court, all right? Let's go.
He's done. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I scored that round. Even though a point was taken away from Bowe, I gave him a 9-8 round because I think he gave such a licking to Holyfield.
Down goes Bowe! First knockdown of Riddick Bowe's career.
Not getting up.
How can you ever count this man out? He is just amazing.
Bowe's out on his feet. If Evander can find him, he might finish it. It was a left hook that did the damage. Evander Holyfield, not known as a knockout puncher, trying to finish the big man here.
Can Bowe show the resilience that Holyfield showed in their first fight? Can he survive this? Who would have thunk it? Just when it looked as though Holyfield was ready to give up, he's got Bowe almost out on his feet.
And now Holyfield seems to have run out of gas.
Let's go.
Bowe getting himself back together. Got an excellent chance now to make it out of the round.
Come on, get him out of there.
And maybe even to turn it around the way Holyfield did on him in round 10 of the first fight. Here comes Bowe.
I would never ever believe that I would see this of almost a mirror image of what we saw before.
Come on.
Bowe looking at Cortez to ask for help. He says, Evander hit me on the back of the head with a left
Get him out
hand.
of there. Come on, get him out of there. Come on, let's go.
That's the first time Bowe is down as a professional,
Come on, don't be holding.
and
Get him
he
out of
is
there,
showing
get him out of there,
some
come on.
stuff that we
Let's go.
haven't seen before in terms of his heart and will. And it's a good thing he got into great condition for this fight.
Holyfield's punches without snap now. What do you make of this, George?
George, you seem as stunned as everyone else.
No, I'm not stunned. I mean, Evander Holyfield is fighting on pure courage.
Dangerous courage in your view.
Dangerous.
Get out.
10 seconds left in round 6. Holyfield mounts an attack again. Bowe can't seem to stop the left hand. Evander misses with a right.
Here we go again.
Keep your hands up and don't walk into him with your hands down.
Riddick, you okay?
All right.
An exhausted Evander Holyfield fights back, a left hook on the chin. that was not the one, although perhaps it contributed to the final blow. And there it is, that left hook. Down goes Bowe. Down goes Bowe. An amazing turnabout. When you've been watching fights as long as we have, you're hesitant in suggesting that something like this could happen again. So we are as startled as anyone else. Round 31.
At that time, there was no doctor in Holyfield's corner between rounds.
Come on, get those hands out of there.
But Evander still seemed to be struggling to regain his breath.
Let it go, Holyfield. Watch that this side.
Gargantuan effort from both men.
Let's go, come on, give me a clean round.
Holyfield in round 6 landed 30 of 41 punches, and most of them were power shots.
Get him out of there. Get those hands out. Get him out. Let's go. Holyfield, hold that head. Keep him up, this guy.
Both men seeming to try to get a little bit of a rest here, George.
Well, I wouldn't want to get a rest this way.
Let me clean around, guys. Come on, work out. Your hands are free, guys. Keep the punches up. Let him out.
More than a minute into round 7, one short left hook from Bowe, the most significant punch of the round.
Get those hands. Don't knock him up. Don't knock him up in there. Get those hands out. Let him loose, guys. Let him loose. Let him loose. All right, break out, guys. Break out. Let's go.
Uppercut landed again for Holyfield.
Let's go, both of you guys. Watch your heads inside. Watch your heads. All right, get him out. Let him out of there. Don't be holding. Let him out. Come on, get him out.
Now they begin to trade again. Both men finding some of the snap in their punches in this last minute of round 7. The second of their 3 fights, Evander Holyfield effectively stole rounds by flurrying in the last 30 seconds.
Get him out of there.
Let's see if that's what he has in mind here.
Step back. Come on, let's go.
George Foreman, you're curiously quiet.
Get the hands out.
Yep.
Hold the head. Get the hands out.
The old saying is, sometimes more is less. And less is more.
Care to explain? You just don't feel as though you should comment on what you're watching? Is that it?
This is a dangerous situation, and there's no intelligence that I can get out of it at this point. Holyfield has had this diagnosis, and he's showing it.
You stand right in front of this guy. We didn't work on
You
that.
cannot stand in front of this guy.
You can't stand in front of him.
All you gotta do is step around. Step around.
Hey, look. When you do fire in sets, not 1 or 2, 3 and 4. Hey, shorten that hook up, okay? Don't aim for his head, aim for his shoulder. You got me?
Keep those punches in his body going. Expect a little uppercut and hook.
Okay.
All right.
You got to start it. Remove it.
Yeah, you did it once.
It looked as though somebody might have brushed some smelling salts across Bowe's nose. Harold, how do you have the score after 7 rounds?
Larry, 4-2, 1 even in rounds, 66, 65 in points. Riddick Bowe by 1 point. Larry, I gave Evander an extra point in round 6 for the knockdown, but I still scored that other in round 5, 9-9. I scored it even. I'll tell you, this is tremendous stuff.
Hard right hand inside by Holyfield, and now down goes Evander.
A right hand
by Bowe.
A right hand inside as Holyfield lunged to get back at him.
7.
Did the trick.
Don't think he's going to make it. No, he made it.
How do you feel? How do you feel? Take a step forward. Take a step forward.
How does he feel?
Take a step forward. Take a step forward.
Wonderful. Terrific.
Third knockdown
This
of
is it.
Holyfield's career. Here
This is the
comes the
end.
fourth, and that's it.
That's it. That's it. That's it. You're going. That's it.
What a fight. Once again, they even exceed the highest expectations we had. Well, it took a long time to get to this fight tonight. Was it worth it?
Very first time.
Holyfield should have oxygen in that corner now. I know that.
Bowe making his way now around his circle of supporters as Evander Holyfield wakes up to the realization of the very first knockout of his career. In rapid-fire succession there, he was knocked down for the third and then the fourth time in his career. Bert Cooper did it. Bowe did it in their first fight, and then Bowe produces 2 more knockdowns with Holyfield tonight. The other first in the fight was, of course, the first time that Bowe has ever been knocked down.
Everybody pray. Everybody. Everybody. Everybody.
Prayer of thanks for Riddick Bowe. I don't see any oxygen in Holyfield's corner yet, but he's sitting up, alert, talking. At least outwardly appears to, and now you see he's standing up. And that's Dr. Flip Pomansky, who's right there with him, observing at close range.
Okay, look.
And we'll take another look at the end of the fight. There's the hard right hand that Holyfield landed in there, and then the right hand by Bowe, and down went Holyfield. I'm not even sure Riddick knew that he had landed that hard a shot. That was the first knockdown. And another look at the first knockdown. George, this short right.
That's the right. The right. The
And I
left.
wasn't sure that Evander would make it up from that one. Eventually he did, and referee Joe Cortez let him come back across the ring, and that's all it took to put the finishing touches on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the site where legends are made, Caesar's Palace, a round of applause for 2 warriors in the heavyweight division. Fight number 3 was everything we wanted it to be. Referee Joe Cortez calls a halt to the bout at 58 seconds in the 8th round. The winner by TKO victory, and now reigns supreme as the best heavyweight in the world, Riddick Big Daddy
We love you, man. We love you.
Veteran fight fans will acknowledge it wouldn't be Vegas if there weren't something fascinating to report about the scorecards. 3 of the most venerable and respected judges in the sport, and all 3 of them had Evander Holyfield leading by a point after 7 rounds. In effect, the margin of difference there, the 1 point which Joe Cortez had deducted from Bowe for low blows. Punch stat numbers are equally as interesting, reflecting as they do the fact that Bowe was considerably busier, throwing more than twice as many punches as Holyfield, but on the other hand, Holyfield landed at an astonishing 60% rate, mostly with power punches, because as we look on to the power punch statistics, you can see that again, Holyfield landed only 96 of 161, but that was a 60% connect rate, as opposed to Bowe, who was also doing a lot of damage with power punches. Riddick Bowe's jab is supposed to be his basic weapon, and it was through much of the fight, as he threw 144 and landed 65. But again, Holyfield landing 61% of his jabs. Riddick Bowe easier to hit than the best heavyweight in the world ought to be, at least by these numbers. After the fight, Larry Merchant spoke to both warriors.
Thank you for all boxing fans, fellas. Riddick, what's on your mind at this moment with this man?
I want to thank this great champion, because without him it wouldn't be possible. He gave me all the inspiration in the world, and I love you, man. Anybody got a bud for him?
You know, speaking of inspiration, I thought of that 10th round in the first fight when he had you down. Did you think you could survive that knockdown? Did your mind flash back to what had happened in the first fight?
Oh no, I keep telling you guys, when I'm faced with adversity, whatever the word is, I always become better because of it. And once I got him, I said, I got to get this guy, you know. Just in my mind, like he says, you know, he can get me. I was always thinking I can get him, but man, I tell you, I love you, man. I love you, man.
All right, Evander, you came out and were very effective here. We're going to take a look at the knockdowns here. When you knocked down Bowe, what happened there?
Well, I caught him with a good left hook in the right hand, and I was trying to get another right hand before he fell to make sure he was down. You know, he just, the whole fight, he was strong, and I got real ornery, real quick, and it was just on the chance I had, it was a knockout punch. I couldn't, have to stand the box.
It even looked in around the 5th round or so that you just were bone tired and weary, and pardon me for saying it, just old.
Well, you know, not so much old and stuff like that. I think the point of that, with Bowe's skills and tactics and stuff, it was just hard to get in, and I just couldn't fight him with everything I had and stuff like that, because he was able to keep me out with the jab, and he was able to hit me with shots. Just stuff like where I was just too conscious of his power, which kind of drained me from my energy.
Well, you explain, why couldn't you finish him after he was down and hurt?
I was too strong. I was just too strong. I had determination. I felt like he felt, you know, but I'm telling you, he has a terrific left hook, and he really surprised me with it.
Were you just bone tired there as well?
I was bone tired when
even though it was the early in the round.
Yeah, I was bone tired. You know, I lost a lot of energy throughout the whole fight.
You're stretching yourself as though something hurts you now, Evander. What is it?
My shoulders hurt, and it's just every shot I just had to swing with all my bite to try to get him off balance and things like that. And he was the best man, and you know, ain't nothing I can take away from him, because it's not like I wasn't prepared. He just better.
Well, thank you for this night, and thank you for your career, Evander Holyfield. All right, Riddick. All right, let's go at it. He comes out in the first round and starts beating you to the jab. What's in your mind then?
Well, I told you I was going to be calm, cool, left to see what he had to offer, and then go into my act, and that's exactly what I did.
All right, and then he started to lean on you and fight you on the inside, which seemed like the worst kind of strategy.
Yeah,
what were your thoughts?
I think the body shots took their toll, and it really started hurting me. Every time I hit him with a shot, I would hear him win. So I pretty much stayed with that attack, and started throwing the uppercuts and the left hook.
Were you looking across the ring, and could you see how out of it he seemed to be getting?
Especially when you're sitting on the stool. And I knew that if I maintained my composure, eventually I would get him. But he has a sharp left hook ball. He surprised me with that shot there.
So because you saw that, did you get careless and come out with your hands down when he knocked you down?
That could put a big factor, but actually I wasn't even thinking about it. There was a shot he threw and he caught me with it.
First time down, what flashed through your mind?
I mean, I knew I was down, and when I looked up, I said, I know I ain't supposed to be down here. This don't look right. And so I got up and said, I got to get him down. He just made me that much more determined. I tell you, Ben always bring the best out in me. My first time down, I got up and I did what I had to do.
All right, let's take a look at the end of the fight now, and you can describe what you did and what you were thinking at that time.
At this particular point, to me, he was real strong. And I said, well, he's winging and he's taking the chance. And that left hook caught him, and it was a pretty decent shot. I didn't want to hit him because I thought the ref was, you know, pretty hard on me. So I just pretty much took my time, and I seen him going down. And when he stayed there for that period of time, I just knew that when he got up, I would get him. It was just a matter of time at this particular point. This 240 pounds against this 213 or wherever he was, it was no match once I got him in trouble.
All right, now he's hurt. What's in your mind?
I'm thinking to hit him with another right hand, uppercut, left hook or whatever. But I knew it was just a matter of time before he went down. And as you can see, he just didn't have it after that. Because he was worried from the body shots and doing the work that he did. And then once getting knocked down, trying to get up, I think it took a lot out of him.
Can you summarize what your thoughts are on the 3 fights with this guy and how you have come through it? Your conditioning tonight helped you survive that round, certainly.
Oh, no question, no question.
And how has this trilogy been for you? Will this be something that's with you for the rest of your life?
Oh, no question. I mean, Evander's a great competitor, and like I said, without Gonzalez and Evander Holyfield, at this particular point, I don't know where I would be because they brought the best out of me, and I needed this challenge, and I just had to take my hat up to him. He taught me a great lesson in the second fight that in order to beat a guy like Evander, don't never underestimate nobody. Underestimate him, but you have to be in great shape, and that's what I did. That's what I learned from these 3 fights.
One last thing. Are you going to fight Lennox Lewis next at last?
I mean, right now I ain't fighting nobody. I'm going home. I'm going to go see my kids. I've been missing them. And I just want to go home now. I want to say hi to all my people in Georgia. And man, it's been great, and I wish Evander Holyfield all the luck in the world.
Thank you very, very much, Riddick Bowe. Now back to you, Jim.
So Riddick Bowe winds up winning by knockout the battle between the men who were seen as the 2 best active heavyweights in the world. And now, George Foreman, Bowe assumes center stage again in the heavyweight division. What weaknesses did he show tonight, and who could beat him?
Let's face it, Riddick Bowe is a good puncher. He has a lot of heart. He had to get up off the canvas to win this boxing match. Score, give him an A+. He's got the heart. You can't take anything away from him. Let him, I'm not going to rain on his parade.
But on the other hand, Evander Holyfield knocked him down, and you yourself say Holyfield's no puncher, and he landed more than half of his shots as he's done before against Bowe. Isn't Bowe too easy to hit?
I can tell you this. If there had been a George Foreman's left hook, and George is not here, by the way, he wouldn't have gotten up.
Well, maybe George will come back sometime. Larry Merchant, your final thoughts on Bowe's conquest and the vanquishing of the valiant Holyfield.
Well, it was 28 against 33, or 33 going on 43 or 53, that really was the difference in this fight. The young man whose time has come somehow was able to battle back through an adversity we had never seen him before. That tells us something we didn't know about him. And yes, he can be hit. Maybe the reason that he's available to be hit so much is that he didn't think that this was the guy who could really put him down. But he got himself in condition, which helped him pull through. And now I think people will assume that he is the best heavyweight out there. I think they'll also assume that if Mike Tyson ever gets himself to the place where he's ready to challenge him, that Tyson would have a chance to beat him, and that I think the next opponent for Riddick Bowe apparently will be Lennox Lewis, and that would be a very big fight, and that will determine who, in many people's mind's eye, who the best heavyweight in the world is once again.
Funny enough, the last time Riddick Bowe beat Evander Holyfield back in November of 1992, everyone assumed then that he would go to a fight with Lennox Lewis, the man who beat him for the Olympic gold medal at Seoul, Korea in 1988. Politics and differences of opinion and money problems conspired to prevent that fight from taking place then, and it probably would have been a lot better for the heavyweight division if it had. Maybe now Bowe and Lewis will finally get together and settle their personal score. So once again, in a fight in which he himself was knocked down in the 6th round and in which he trailed on all 3 scorecards after 7, Riddick Bowe landed a straight right hand in the 8th round, which ultimately led to his TKO of Evander Holyfield at 58 seconds of the 8th, giving Bowe 2 wins in his 3 matchups with Evander. Trilogy, possibly the most memorable series of fights in 30 years of boxing on HBO. When Mike Tyson was convicted of rape and sent off to prison in early 1992, Evander Holyfield was left to search for other ways of proving that he was, as he said, the real deal. He chose to fight the best young American heavyweight, Olympic silver medalist Riddick Bowe. What followed was the greatest heavyweight trilogy since Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
As heavyweight champion, Evander Holyfield prepared to meet Riddick Bowe in 1992. He was regarded as an undersized overachiever. As a light heavyweight in the 1984 Olympics, he suffered a controversial disqualification. As a pro, he won the 190-pound title, which had little public appeal. Though lacking the natural size of a heavyweight, Holyfield set his mind to conquering that division as well.
My coach told me at 8 years old that I could be the heavyweight champ of the world. I hadn't reached the goal. If I would have just stayed the junior heavyweight champ of the world, been undefeated and retired.
He had the skills and smarts, but what made him special was his belief that he could break his opponent's will, no matter his size.
I chose to be insecure about what I thought the people would say. I wanted to prove to the guy, you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you back.
Holyfield always talked about how he would box, and then of course he would get hit, and he would start a brawl, and that was his nature.
The bigger his opponents, the bigger his will seemed to grow.
There was a moment in the Holyfield-Foreman fight.
Another left hook and a right.
When Evander went after George and landed 18, 19 punches in a row. He just wasn't going to take no for an answer.
But his inability to KO former champions Foreman and Larry Holmes seemed to confirm the view he was an outstanding fighter, but not the type of dominant heavyweight fans preferred.
People thought of him as a blown-up light heavyweight, a blown-up cruiserweight. There was this thought that he was just holding on to a title that still really belonged to Mike Tyson.
Tyson had lost the crown, perhaps the biggest upset in boxing history, to 40-1 underdog Buster Douglas in Tokyo. 8 months later, Holyfield won the championship by knocking out Douglas in the third. Still, respect was elusive.
They said, the only reason why you won that because this guy was overweight. And I knocked him out, but people said, well, Tyson hit him harder than that.
After a dynamic powerhouse like Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield wasn't appreciated for the great fighter he was.
It was hard for people to accept that someone can be the heavyweight champ of the world and not be as big a puncher as Tyson.
Only a fight with Tyson could convince the skeptics, and one was scheduled for November of 1991. However, delays, caused first by an injury to Tyson's rib and later by his rape conviction, deprived fight fans of the most eagerly anticipated heavyweight fight in years. With Tyson in prison, Holyfield scheduled a giant of a young fighter from Tyson's neighborhood in Brooklyn, the unbeaten Riddick Bowe. There were questions about Bowe's qualifications.
The knock on him was that he was lazy. There were rumors all the time. He had to be barred from going to the kitchen during training. It was difficult to get him to get up and do his road work.
I was with Riddick when he was an amateur, and we had a lot of fun, but he never showed the drive to be a champion.
Lou had brought him in as a sparring partner for Tyrell Biggs. Tyrell was beating the living shit out of him every day, primarily because he was just going through the motions.
But no one questioned Bowe's pure talent for fighting.
We knew that he had the size, we knew he had the speed, we knew he had the strength and the talent. What we didn't know is whether, when the going got tough, whether he was going to be able to step it up.
As he showed against trial horses Pierre Coetzer and Bigfoot Martin, Bowe was not the usual plodding giant. Taking on Holyfield for the title, however, would require a new level of commitment.
He was the guy that I boxed when I was an amateur, he was a professional. But I knew that from his attitude and his makeup, when you fight a guy like Evander Holyfield, I'm gonna tell you, Evander comes to get it. So I never underestimated him.
You never saw a more focused, more serious Riddick Bowe.
It was perhaps the best training camp that we've ever had. Bowe was ready to fight for the title.
A crowd of 18,000 awaits the fourth title defense for Evander Holyfield, a defense which now becomes the biggest test for respect in his 2-year reign as champion.
On November 13th, 1992, the challenger appeared ready, but few anticipated the ferocious encounter we'd see that night.
The question in the air was, how would Bowe deal with the kind of pressure and firestorm that Holyfield was capable of bringing to him?
And they brawl in the center of the ring.
Bowe has answered some questions early in this fight. He is showing a real willingness for combat.
Holyfield intended to box and flurry with Bowe, as he had against Douglas, but that plan was quickly abandoned.
He hit me so hard, But because of pride, I stayed there so long, both my eyes were swollen up so I couldn't see from the outside. So it's just a night of me standing there toe to toe.
Fighting at this furious pace, many felt Bowe would wilt.
Riddick Bowe used to be my sparring partner. A smart fighter, good hand speed, inside and outside. But he was known for running out of gas.
The left and a right by Holyfield and the left. These are solid shots, but the champion does not seem able to hurt Riddick Bowe.
Now, why didn't he run out of gas?
Round by round, the excitement was building, but it was the 10th round which took the fight into the stratosphere.
Bowe stuns him with an uppercut, and just like that, the champion struggles to stay on his feet. What a heart by Holyfield.
He's gonna stay on his feet.
He's hanging in there.
He hit me with an uppercut. Boom, oh, it just a shot. Oh, you know, all of a sudden, you know, I know that I'm hit. Now I go on defense, and he's swinging for life.
Gets away from a right hand, blocks another one. Bowe throwing and throwing, now goes to the body. Holyfield somehow standing up.
Riddick laid so much punishment on Evander in the first minute and a half of the round that it was pretty hard to fathom how Evander was standing up.
Joe Cortez watching. Champion gets the benefit of the doubt.
It was just a matter of him getting hit one more devastating blow before I would have stopped it. However, Holyfield has been known to get staggered and come back.
If you can feel the pain, then you're still in the game. It's when you don't feel the pain, you out.
This damn pit bull from Georgia would not go down.
Evander Holyfield's incredible powers of recovery once again on display.
And all of a sudden, the storm got quiet. Uh-oh now. Oh boy, I'm gonna hurt you.
All of a sudden, he had Riddick on the run, and for the last 30 seconds of the round, you're wondering how Riddick is going to finish.
Look at Holyfield. What a warrior. Reversing the tide of the battle. The champion now has Bowe wobbling. And he lands a right hand. Everybody in the Thomas and Mack Center on their feet. A right hand by Holyfield. And another. Round 10 continues after the bell.
Now, when the bell rung, I said, man, I just had 10 more seconds. Now, in the whole fight, now that's the only round that I was wishing that there could have been a little bit more time.
I said to myself, this cat here, you all right. I was impressed with him, you know. Pat him on the stomach at the end of the round. I mean, that's a good round, you know.
They both survived the storm, but it took more out of Holyfield than Bowe. Holyfield was floored in the 11th.
Oh, Holyfield in serious trouble now, and he's going to go down.
Again, Holyfield proved his resilience. The champion entered the 12th, needing a knockout to retain the title. It was not to be.
From the back of the arena now, they begin to rise and applaud what has been an extraordinary battle between two men of heart and will and courage and skill.
It could have been one of those old fights that went 20, 30 rounds. The bell rang to end the 12th round, and it was like, you know, they were saying 12 rounds isn't enough. We need to go until somebody can't go anymore.
And new heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick.
And it was devastating to me. Did he win? Oh, yeah. He won. And he won it the right way. He took the fight.
Riddick Bowe emphatically answered any doubts about his resolve.
His heart had always been questioned, and I felt like, God damn it, question this. Look at this man. Look at this athlete. Look at this competitor.
And Holyfield's valor showed that a heavyweight champion could be measured by qualities other than power.
There is no doubt whatsoever that the 10th round completely won over all the skeptics for Holyfield.
Following the loss, Holyfield briefly considered retirement before winning a decision over journeyman Alex Stewart in June of 1993. Bowe's life, of course, changed overnight. The heavyweight championship is what you make of it, and Bowe's manager, the newcomer Rock Newman, intended to make a lot of it.
I remember thinking, Rock Newman has a heavyweight champion. We're going to see some entertaining things.
Newman had Bowe toss his WBC championship belt into a trash can, scrapping an understanding that he would fight Lennox Lewis.
If anyone has criticism of me because I fought, scratched, and clawed for my client's interest, bring that criticism on.
To further promote the personable new champion, Newman took Bowe on an Ali-like world tour. It expanded Bowe's horizons and his waistline.
I got a chance to meet the Pope. I was in Somalia, I was in Germany, I was all over the place.
By the time you get through traveling all over the world and shaking people's hand and smile, and you don't get a chance to train.
Rock Newman is a smart guy who thinks out of the box, and he was going to try to market Bowe as a world figure. He outthought himself.
To this day, a defiant Newman disagrees.
In spite of the fact that many say that the world tour had something to do with his problems, he came back, he went into training, he fought Jesse Ferguson in May. It is a fight that Eddie Futch says that he thought that Bowe looked better than he had ever looked, ever.
Whether or not the world tour adversely affected Bowe, a bigger distraction was a constant battle of the bulge.
Bowe was not a partier, was not a drinker, smoker, or drugger. What he did is he gorged himself.
If there was a piece of cake over there that was, you know, telling me to come get it, I went and got it.
It was clear when Bowe met Holyfield for the rematch that Bowe did more eating than training.
It's more than just the extra 11 pounds. He looks softer all over, right, George?
He is not proud of his body tonight.
Holyfield added 12 pounds, but it was all muscle, demonstrating that his hunger was only to recapture the title he had lost. With new trainer Emmanuel Stewart, Holyfield agreed to stick to the strategy he abandoned in the first fight.
I says, we're going to beat him with rhythm, speed, techniques, moves that would make Riddick Bowe's larger size become a handicap instead of an advantage.
The change worked, as Holyfield dictated a more deliberate pace in the early rounds.
Holyfield has got the fight in his hand now. He's double jabbing. Everything he does, he moves first and then he retreats good afterwards.
By adopting a different strategic tack, Evander had thrown Riddick just enough off balance to make it a different fight.
He was standing out of harm's way. It kind of frustrated me with his movement.
Bowe throwing one punch at a time.
I was counter-punching, then I was able to lead. That second fight was, was a masterpiece.
A masterpiece that looked like it would go unfinished.
And somebody in a parachute has just landed on the edge of the ring, has been pulled away by security guards. The fight has been brought to a halt. There's a massive melee at ringside.
I see this guy come crashing into the rope. When he did that, that look on my face, and Riddick Bowe, turned around looking. He was kind of skeptical and looked back like I was joking.
I thought he seen King Kong.
Chaos.
Surreal. Just bizarre.
We were disoriented. No one knew what this meant.
I thought, this has got to be a dream. Maybe I didn't wake up in time. Couldn't be real.
The fight stopped. People reaching over and pulling him down and starting to pound him.
He got his ass thoroughly smashed. I saw Caesar's Palace security. I saw our security. I saw the Fruit of Islam. Everyone converging on this guy.
I was thinking, does he have a weapon? Is he carrying a bomb?
And people began to scream, and some people pulled out their guns. I grabbed Mrs. Bowe and we hit the floor because we figured if they were going to be shooting, it would be in our direction.
My first thought was it was an attempt on either Farrakhan or Jesse Jackson's life. Pandemonium broke out.
This is a monumental disaster. Right now, police are filing by me at ringside and grabbing this gentleman who has created a monstrosity of an interruption in the bout.
With Fan Man finally removed, the question became, what next?
I don't know what we would have done if they would have refused to fight anymore. I knew that Bowe's wife was taken on a stretcher that night.
I have just gotten word that Riddick Bowe's wife has just fainted at ringside.
Gentlemen, she's in the early stages of her 4th pregnancy.
She's fainted with excitement and maybe even fear. We had to take her out.
I thought about it for a long time, standing there, if I should go with her, if I should stay here.
To the extent that we could have some coherent discussion, it really focused on him feeling a need to get out of the ring and go be with his pregnant wife versus whether or not he should stay there and fight and try to defend his title.
I never wanted people to say that Riddick Bowe was a quitter. He could have continued to fight, but he got out the ring or whatever the case may be, so I didn't want to open that door.
After a 21-minute delay, the fight resumed in round 7, already in progress.
1 minute, 50 seconds remain in the round.
Well, I suppose that if a wasp came into Picasso's studio and stung him on the nose, he'd go and get some ice and go right back to his easel, and that's what the fighters did.
Who had benefited from the delay? Bowe saw his wife in distress. Holyfield saw a weary opponent get a rest.
If it wasn't been for that man that flew in, you know, for a short night.
When the fight resumes, he come out there, he start throwing punches. I was overwhelmed. It takes me damn near to end the fight to get warmed back up, and by this time I'm behind on points.
I realized that what I have won is 6 rounds, but you know what? The fight is over after 12.
Left-right combination. Bowe misses with the uppercut.
Should have used my jab because he couldn't get away from the jab and he couldn't get around it. But if I had used my jab a little bit better, I don't want to fight hands down.
Riddick still had his moments.
Holyfield staying in, becoming a target. Bowe starting to heat up.
It was a really close fight. It was doggone near impossible to separate them and try to figure out who had actually won the fight.
So close, in fact, that the scoring of the disrupted 7th round played a major role in Holyfield regaining the title.
The 3 judges, one scored it for Bowe, one scored it even, one scored it for Holyfield. If the judge who scored it for Holyfield would have scored that round for Bowe, then Bowe would have kept his title, would have turned out to be a draw. And so this fan man may have caused a change in boxing history.
Holyfield had recaptured the title, but subsequently lost it to Michael Moore. During the course of that bout, major health concerns arose.
Rub my shoulder, my left shoulder. Rub his left shoulder. My left shoulder.
Evander complained of pain in his shoulder. He developed some shortness of breath, and there appeared to be an obvious problem with his heart.
I'll read a statement.
He was transferred back to Emory, and they concurred. They showed a model of his heart and talked about the problems.
What we see with his heart, though, is the elasticity is not quite normal, that it doesn't expand as easily as we would expect the heart to do.
Not satisfied with these conclusions, Holyfield visited a faith healer and pronounced himself fit to fight. The Nevada State Athletic Commission, however, needed medical evidence.
I'm a medical guy. I can only look at black and white and a database. So we sent Evander to the Mayo Clinic for the most intensive medical evaluation any athlete in history has been through.
The doctor there was able to let me know that, you know, you weren't born with a heart condition. And what has happened is that they overhydrated you and they gave you too much morphine, which caused my heart to blow up. So in time that the heart went back down and it's all right. He said, you all right to fight.
Satisfied with the results of the Mayo Clinic evaluation, the Nevada State Athletic Commission granted Holyfield a license, which meant a rubber match with Bowe. No title would be at stake, but it was still the biggest heavyweight fight that could be made.
It was perhaps the most brutal of the 3 fights.
Hard right hand by Bowe. Holyfield comes back with a left.
They both absorbed a tremendous amount of punishment.
A persistent theme in the trilogy, punching after the bell.
Holyfield was quickly exhausted, raising concerns that his heart was in distress again.
This is a very dangerous fight as far as I'm concerned for Evander Holyfield. This man is not able to catch a second win. This man is going to end up in a pine box.
I understand the frustration and the concern of George Foreman. You know, this guy's going to die, but it wasn't my heart.
But what it was something that could have endangered his life by weakening him in the ring. Recent revelations explain Holyfield's fatigue.
I wrapped his hands every morning. He was sitting there and his eyes was yellow as I don't know what. I said, man, what's wrong with you? I didn't know it till after the fight, but Evander had contracted hepatitis.
I ate some seafood and got hepatitis A, and my doctor told me, you shouldn't fight. Your energy level gonna go up and down, up and down.
Despite being diagnosed with hepatitis A, Holyfield chose to fight. By round 5, he appeared to be finished.
Holyfield taking a couple of heavy shots.
Holyfield is really hurting. He just became 33, going on 53.
It looked like he was all through as a fighter, like he had spent so much to prove what he had proven.
I recall thinking the end is near for Holyfield. And then, early in the 6th round,
Down goes Bowe!
Evander threw a left hook to the body, threw a left hook to my shoulder. Ain't no big deal. Boom! Everything went blank.
As promised by his doctor, though, Holyfield's energy surge wouldn't last.
And now Holyfield seems to have run out of gas.
He was hurt, and I didn't do that because I didn't have the energy to finish.
He let Bowe off the hook. Had Holyfield been able to hurt Bowe a little bit more in that round, I would have had no choice but to stop the contest.
I was disappointed in myself. I had the courage to get in that ring that way, but when it came to the final test, to just throw in a few punches and not worrying about how I felt, I didn't do it.
Holyfield had one more energy surge in the 8th round.
He was capable of those 20 seconds of throwback to what you had seen before.
Hard right hand inside by Holyfield, and now down goes Evander.
And then just as suddenly, gone again.
Third knockdown of Holyfield's career. Here comes the 4th, and that's it.
That's it.
There was this shell of Holyfield there in the ring where Evander's flaming spirit had once been.
With that, the trilogy came to a close with Bowe having won 2 of the 3 bouts. The boxing world was witnessing the beginning of an end, a surprise end.
I always figured Holyfield would be the guy who'd come out for the worse. Turns out that the guy who was really hurt in this trilogy was Bowe, physically and psychologically.
Indeed, Bowe's career had peaked against Evander Holyfield. He fought just twice more, taking bad beatings in disqualification wins against Andrew Golota.
Riddick Bowe allowed his worst instincts to take over, and his worst instincts were laziness, gluttony. If he was driven by anything, he was driven by hunger to eat, but certainly not by hunger to be great.
By contrast, Holyfield's legend kept rolling along.
we thought after the 3rd fight that this would be the end of Holyfield's run as a great fighter. But of course, it worked the other way. Holyfield regrouped to have more great fights, as he did most famously against Mike Tyson.
While the Tyson fights helped define Holyfield's high standing in history, the epic Bowe fights defined him in victory and defeat as the noblest of warriors.
You saw the best of Evander Holyfield, and you saw the best of Riddick Bowe. And these 2 guys were made for each other.
It would have been impossible for anyone to foresee that the seemingly spent shell of Holyfield we saw in that 3rd fight against Bowe would knock out Mike Tyson just 12 months later. It might have been equally difficult to envision the demise of Bowe, whose 2 ensuing fights with Andrew Golota were as bizarre in their way as Fan Man's flight. As for the man on the paraglider, James Miller was found dead on a trail in Alaska at age 39 in March 2003. Thanks for watching The Tale of Holyfield Bowe.